I only have a few minutes before the next class starts, so quickly I have to record the intro for this exercise. We will take a look at how we can create this set of 4 chairs out of one and the same sketch, like here. So we will start with this basic sketch. I will talk about how we can block out the basic proportions of a chair: dimensions, backrest, angle, height, and whatnot. And then via a mix of surface modeling and also solid modeling, then we will start refining the design, and then we will start making additional variations. What's also very interesting in this exercise at the end is how we will not only bend actually the backrest, but then even bend also the seating area. We will take a look at the loft command to loft surfaces, or not surfaces, loft sketches together. So for example, here you can see the left and right and the center sketch for these last 2 chairs. Cool, no? Yeah, I think so too. Okay, let's do it now. Very good. So let's start with a new file. First thing we want to do is make sure our unit system is set to inches. Then it makes sense to create a reference sketch or something just to explore or block out proportions. So I go to the right side, make a new sketch, click on this plane, and I start with a very simple rectangle, just horizontal, vertical, everything. Okay, then I press D or I go to sketch dimension, and this, let's say we make 16 inches and we make this one 16 inches too. And we can zoom out a little bit. So this is kind of like the seating area, height-wise, and then also depth-wise. And let's add a line. This line we make also 16 inches, but this dimension should be aligned. So there you see this is aligned now. 16 inches, very good. And the angle, let's see, what can we specify here? For example, 100 degrees. Okay. So this is a very basic box right now. And what I would like to do now is to sketch this a little bit more into a design that doesn't look so primitive. I will press Escape and then delete this and this and this corner constraint. This line here I will specify to be 17 inches. And this one I double click and specify to be 18 inches. This line now rotates, so let's make this line horizontal. Okay. This dimension here I will remove and give this seating area 16 inches for the sitting. And you see by having these 2 lines changed, this line got rotated, and because we have this 100-degree link between these 2 lines, this one automatically rotates for us. You see we never have to go back and make sure this is 100 degrees. Okay, we can keep this at 17. This gives this a nice slope. Now when we sit on it, our legs are on the left side, our hip will be here. This is the kind of like the center of gravity, which means this point, when we press M, has to go a little bit further back. Maybe like this. Okay, and this here, we can't move because I have this horizontal constraint. There we are. Let's move. Ooh, I got seizures. Let's move this one over. So let's try to do this without everything falling apart. Here when I pull this one, the rest actually goes. Okay. Very good. Yeah, so this actually starts to look pretty good. Now these dimensions are actually wrong because you see they specify the length of these lines. That is not what I want. I want to specify the height. So point to here. So this should be 18, and here to here height-wise, that should be 17. Very good. Now you see actually it also deforms a little bit more predictable. We can, for example, add more dimensions, maybe 90 degrees. What do we have here? Let's add 100. Very good. So this is the end point. It's kind of like under our back. Yeah. And then here, this we can't really dimension anymore, but we can give this a readout. Okay. So now we have actually a basic sketch that gives us a lot of information. The angle, for the seating and the backrest, the angle for the legs, the length of the legs, also the high and low point, and we can read out also how wide the base is. Then we can go into a perspective view, go to surface and extrude a set of lines. Here we don't want this back line to go up, so I will turn this off and deselect this line. Very good. And then let's extrude this by 8 inches, and then we go symmetry. There we are. Pretty cool. Okay. Now we have created kind of like what I consider a paper model. We then can round these edges, let's say with 2 inches. And because we have these edges rounded, then we can simply go and use as thicken command. And we want to go, yep. So we want to go away from the ground. So in this case here, it's -1 inch. Very good. This surface here, we can remove. We don't need it anymore. And if we want to finish this design a little bit, we can turn on the fillet command. And I very carefully select all those corners, maybe 2 inches. Very good. Right click, repeat. And then I click on these 2 edges and 0.2 inches. Very nice. Cool. Now, very simple chair. And we extruded everything out of kind of like a basic sketch. Now, the nice thing about this process and this system we have, let's actually do this. We go to extrude and we will extrude here this whole thing, 8 inches. Symmetry. Very good. Then we go extrude this one here, 8 inches too. Symmetry. Good. We will do the rounding here again. So this, and this edge, 2 inches. Don't be concerned about this disconnect here. This is all fine. Okay. Then we can do this thicken again. 1 inch to the inside. Beautiful. Cool. So now we actually kind of have a stool or something, or an ottoman, or however you would like to use this. We could put this on a wall and then it's a shelf. Let's thicken this one. Here we say actually symmetry and .5. Very good. But now there we can see, oh, we have a gap. What can we do? We go to solid, then we go to push and pull, select this face, and then we can extend this till it goes in. And we have to be careful that we don't push this through, but maybe till there. Yeah, that looks good. These two elements now we can join together. There we are. Cool. Now we have one piece, and well, we can go back and say 2 inches, hold the control or Apple key, and we add maybe 2 there. Click OK. Yeah, look at that. Now we can just round these edges 2 inches. Very nice. Right click, repeat, and then the outside and the inside 0.2. Okay. So now we created another basic shape of a chair, kind of like using exactly the same type of a sketch, but simply with a different approach. And one time, like with this area being open, so this chair, for example, might swing a little bit more. And here, in this case, this is a connected base. Here we have a back support, so this would be a more stiff design. And actually, this chair has some sort of a built-in storage. Okay, very good. Let's continue refining this design. Particularly this linear backrest, I would like to make look more comfortable. Now, a cranky Klingon from Star Trek might say, hey, what's wrong with this? Looks totally sufficient, but we know we can make this better. The extrude command, surface or solid, doesn't really matter, only allows us to take a profile or a line and then extrude it along one direction. But if we would like to kind of like bend this area, we need to have a sketch on the outside, the inside, and the outside. So we blend between those 3 sets. And that is what the loft command will do. As you can see in the image, it lofts between 2 different shapes. We also have loft and surface, pretty much the same. Okay, so before we do this, we need to create our sketches. However, these 2 I will actually remove, so they are gone. The whole design will be 8 inches to one side, so 16 inches total. That means now we can go to construction offset, mouse button, click and hold, select the y-axis and 8 inches. Right click, repeat, left mouse button, hold, click here, -8. Then we make a new sketch on here and we go to project and project this, and this in. Very good. Now I basically rebuilt the base and I can draw a new line. This line should be 16 inches. So also here, press D, and then we add a dimension. Again, you see the dimension is not horizontal or vertical, it is aligned. And now you can also start the dimension mirror sketch dimension here. And then we select these 2 lines, press D, and we set this is 100. And we go to a side view, then we see, oh, this is actually at the same. So let's bring this one in 5 degrees. So we go 95. Very good. Then we make a new sketch, this time on the other construction plane. And this time I go project. I will do this here one more time too. And then project this line in. Okay, finish. We can go to loft and say 1, 2, and 3. And right click and OK. And look at that. There you see what happened. Pretty cool, no? Yeah, think so too. We could then actually go with loft 1 and 2 and plus 1, 2, and 3 plus 1, 2, and 3. You see how I'm actually creating this whole piece out of 2 different lofts. I could have actually also done this directly out of a set of all these lines. There we are. But because only the backrest here bends and the rest is pretty much the same, honestly, the way how I would do this is simply, okay, 1, 2, 3, you loft, thank you, and then extrude the centerpiece 8 inches symmetrical. There we are. This way, actually, because this goes 8 inches, these edges here all line up. Then when we go to fillet, oh, there's nothing to fillet because these two surfaces are not one. We go stitch, stitch both together, right click and OK. Now we can go fillet, 2 inches, OK. And then create, thicken. There we are. This we can now remove. Yeah, look at that. No, that doesn't look too bad. Quite nice. We could go ahead and then round the edges, but we're not doing it in this case because we don't have the time for this, and there wouldn't be anything new you really would learn. There are maybe a few elements, however, for the cleanup. Take a look at this face. There we can see, this is not really a nice and clean design. If we go to this, there we can even see there are some internal edges. So what can we do to make this better? At this point, I will create myself a new sketch. There we are. Then I will draw a line like this. I would like to maybe make this really perpendicular to this thing. So I could go project and project this line in. And then these two lines I make parallel. Press escape, and then I can move this one up right to maybe like there. You see, then there it starts going over the rim. It has to stay below, and we can use under solid this to split with this line. And there you see, we made this nice and flat. So we cleaned this up. It's like we took the backrest and then we went to a sander or a bandsaw and trimmed it. Okay, very nice. Now, one last modification. Let's say we actually would like to also have the center part dip down. How can we maybe do this? Okay. Let's see. Let's give this actually some names first. So this is split, then center origin. This is left, and this is right. Okay. And this line I would like to go down more, but then actually, because how this is being projected, it will change. Plus, when I change this line, also my first design will change. So I simply have to create a new center sketch. So new sketch on this grid. Then I will go ahead and say, press P for project, or here, you and you can come in. You're cool. Welcome to the party. And click and click. I know that this actually should be 16 inches. There you are. Enjoy the potato chips. this we measured out as 18 inches. And that means that this one, in this one was 17. So we will make the height 16 this time. So click, click, there, 16. Very good. And then we draw our line. There we are. And sketch dimension there, 100. Okay, very good. The dimension here I could make 16. I make this on 17 on purpose, a little bit longer because you see this point went down. Maybe I make this 17.5 because we have to trim later the top anyway. Very good. Okay, then we can call this center maybe loft because we added the definition for a loft in there. We can show these two previous sketches. We can reuse them. Okay, now actually it makes sense to loft everything because there's sufficient amount of difference between all these sketches. There we are. Beautiful. Fillet there, 2 inches. You see, it's very repetitive. Not necessarily set this in a negative way, but it makes it very easy to learn. Where's the split? There's the split. That looks beautiful. Split body, you split by you. Thank you. And then these two we retire. Yeah, and you see it now. We have a share where the backrest and this all is actually nicely arced. Now we can go ahead now actually round this corner because we cleaned the top. Makes more sense now. Maybe 2 inches. Hold the control or Apple key. 2 inches there. Right click, repeat. 0.2. Oh, interesting. I didn't really use the complete chain. I guess I might have to select all these edges there. Hold the Apple key or Control key till really all edges are selected. There's still somewhere some edges missing in action. There we are. Very good. Very nice. Yeah. Now all these these sides are all lines. Now if we would build this all out of curves, such a chair could become even more interesting. But again, I hope in this exercise you saw how simple actually or easy furniture design can be. You don't need to be a crazy Michelangelo because everything needs to be produced anyway. It is more a matter of being very playful with lines. And for example, here in this case, it's all just lines, but nothing is vertical. Only this one is horizontal. And this gives this otherwise blocky chair a much more interesting or an already much more interesting dynamic. I mean, I'm not saying that this is going into a museum, but I hope you see what I mean. Okay. Very good.